We're live, yeah? We're actually live for once.
We're live and ready to go.
Oh, it's been a busy month. We've been busy, haven't we?
We've been very busy.
Very busy. So we're going to hit these hard, pay attention, because they're not going to always be the main subject.
3, 2, 1, go.
Tesla's new Cybertruck, the new Prius, the lead singer of Pogues has died. Paris terror attack, 2nd of December. The new Hilux ad, Toyota Hilux, has been cancelled in the UK. Neil the Seal in Australia. What was it, Michelle Mole? £60 million PPE deal during the COVID-19 scandemic. Ford are struggling to sell EVs. Russia pulls out of the nuclear weapons treaty. Money from the HS2 will be used for potholes. And also Tesla announced its new robot. And then it killed someone. So let's just get right into this.
That sounds a lot of news.
It's a lot, isn't there? You know, that's what I'm saying. So Christmas has been a busy month. We were going to do a mini episode to explain that we're going to be very busy. It's going to be no time to do any editing, but screw it. Seb's going to have a lot of editing now.
We've got a lot of editing
to do.
Well, it'll keep me busy.
Is that a cracked lens?
Yeah, that's the screen protector.
The
camera protector.
The camera protector.
Yeah.
Crikey. So hopefully you can see us in 4K. With a hairline fracture down the side. I think we're just going to jump into. I think we're just going to do car session, aren't we? I think we'll just do a car session. So we've got
do that.
The Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck was announced and released on the US market, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It won't be for any of us Europeans at all, as it is too square and it's got very sharp edges.
Yes, apparently, when I looked into this the other day, the sharp edges aren't actually the problem. It's the fact that because it's so solid, European car regulatory law specifies that cars have to be designed to absorb the impact when they hit something.
That's right, they have a crumple zone, don't they?
Yeah, but obviously Cybertrucks don't really have a crumple zone. They just crumple everything else around them. So apparently that's a massive reason why they can't be sold legally over here.
And going off from that, it's literally one of them just had their first crash. Have you seen the video?
Cybertruck?
Yeah,
no, I haven't seen it.
There is no damage to it whatsoever, apart
fine.
from the plastic fenders that go around the wheel arch.
No, all I've seen.
You want to see the other car?
I imagine it's wrecked.
It's
the only video I've seen is when Joe Rogan shoots his compound bow edit.
That's right.
And it just like pings
on his podcast, and even Elon was like, "Yeah, you can go give it a go."
There's like a tiny little dent, but it literally just pings straight off.
So yes, it's pretty much bulletproof, and you can opt in for bulletproof glassing, I believe.
Yeah, you can opt in for bulletproof glass, but the only problem is because the glass has to be so thick, you can't roll the windows down.
Can't roll the windows down. So it's going to defeat the object of being electric. You're going to be running the AC quite a lot, so you're going to kill the battery, aren't you?
Yeah, so that's just something to keep in mind if you want to get bulletproof everything on the Cybertruck.
Do you like it?
Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've kind of come round to it.
Yeah, remember when it was first shown?
Yep.
And everyone was like, oh...
I was in that camp. When I first saw it, I was like, what is that thing?
I mean, it looks silly, doesn't it? I mean, it looks silly.
It does still look silly.
I mean, it just looks like this going down the road with wheels. It just looks like a
The best way I've heard people describe it is that
it looks like a square.
Is that it looks like a low polygon PS1 car.
Something they like Tomb Raider would drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, brilliant. I like the idea of it. I think it could do with a bit more styling. Maybe let's get it along our other competitors.
It's a bit of an odd one because obviously it's designed like that on purpose to stand out and be different.
Of course it is. But it doesn't fit in with Tesla itself, does it?
Not really.
I know it's a Cybertruck. I know it's nothing to probably do with Tesla.
No, because when you actually...
Or is it?
Well, yeah, it is from Tesla.
It's from Tesla,
yeah. But when you actually look at the other Tesla cars, they're all sort of like rounded and nice.
That's what I'm saying. They look sleek, futuristic.
Just this pointy PS1 car.
Absolute, like... Well, it looks like an MRAP, doesn't it?
It just looks like...
It looks like a military MRAP.
It kind of looks like a child has tried to make a car out of, like, paper, and they've glued all the corners together, but they're, like, don't really know how to round anything off.
Where do we go from here?
Kind of what it looks like. Yeah. It's like a real bad paper mache thing.
The one thing I do like about it is that on the back it's got the rolling shutter, and you can stand on that. So the biggest thing that we've got with, like, construction workers buying pickup trucks in the construction trade and in the utility trade is that they have these the truckman back, which are easy to break into. The little piddly locks, they always break, or the rolling canvas back, which rip it, and you can get into what you want.
Yeah, cool.
Now I know it defeats the object of, well, you shouldn't be carrying expensive equipment, but you can't. it's inevitable. You're going to have
Well,
to, at one
yeah.
point, the whole point of a truck is to take that from the lumber yard or take it from the hardware store to the site.
That is the point of the truck, like you said.
You're going to be carrying laser levels.
Yeah.
You're going to be carrying things like heavy drilling equipment, stuff like that.
Well, what are you supposed to do? Take it with you every time you get out?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you can't take, you say like you've got a massive laser level for sites and everything like that. And you ordnance surveys ones and everything like you're going to put it in your bathroom downstairs. Your wife's going to get pretty pissed off in the end. So,
Yeah.
I like that for the Cybertruck. It's actually, and it's a huge trunk. It's massive. And it's, but yeah, obviously it's had its first crash and it has worked out very well.
I can imagine.
And we'll have to get the photos. You have to drag the photos up. It was
Yeah,
on
I'll try and see it out.
TikTok. And there was a young lad driving, I believe middle age or something like it looks like, and he looks completely fine. But the other car,
I bet he
gone.
I bet he barely felt it. He was
It's just a couple of scrapes
what's that?
on the stainless steel bodywork. But that's where we're going to now move in. Have you seen the new Prius?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks
Yes,
sleek,
I have.
doesn't
It looks pretty cool,
It does
actually.
look
It looks very it kind of looks like cyberpunky, a little bit futuristic.
It does, doesn't it?
But in a cool way, not in the way the Cybertruck does.
Well, they've kind of moved with a modern look of how the Prius looked in the beginning, because the Prius looked like a Dove bar of soap, didn't it?
It did,
With
actually,
the just cut off back and everything. And I like it because this is where I'm going to go now and criticise the Honda Civics. They have completely lost touch with the vehicle. They literally went spacecraft. They literally went spacecraft with it. It's just, I'm not happy about it.
Civics have been getting like that for a while, though.
Very long time.
The last few Civics, every time you look at them, it looks more like a spaceship.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Gear stick up here, everything like that. It's looking more like a van, but like squashed
Even just
up
the outside of it, you're like,
yeah.
interesting.
Where did it go from here to
Yeah.
there? And this is why I like the new Prius. And then obviously they got the sport model, which is coming out, which looks even more better. And I think we're gonna have to take over here from the Grand Tour, because that obviously finishes this month, doesn't it? It does, yeah.
Just the
So
end.
I think this is why we're probably doing a motor tribute to
There you go.
them. They've got quite a lot to do
Tribute.
with cars this month. But Prius, we get it. I think I'm gonna get it. I think it's an option.
I think I would. I think I'd definitely look into it. They look pretty cool.
Considering that I'm in the market for looking for a new vehicle anyway, because we're now 2 years into our current car, and it's going to be another year. I've got to start looking. I was looking at a Q series, right? An Audi Q series, 45,000 basic starting point,
Which Q series?
and that would be
which
the
one?
Q5.
Is
And
that-
it's not even massive.
the Q7's one that's like
The
a tank,
Q7's
isn't it?
huge, and
It's
then
like
obviously you've got the Q8, which is like the massive
Q7,
sport.
Q8, they're the
version.
ones that look like
The Q5's
massive
probably
things.
along the similar size of the what was it, like Tiguan?
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, the
Yours
Tiguan.
is a little bit smaller, isn't it?
Ours
Yours
is
has
a
got the
T-Cross. It's a little bit
It's
smaller
like the
than T-Cross.
Q3, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think?
it is like Q3, yeah.
But that's what we're saying. But there's also as well the new Dacia. The Dacia that's coming out looks smart on the front, but the back end looks bloody
I
atrocious.
never know how to pronounce that.
Just Dacia. I think.
I've heard some people call it a Dacia.
Dacia. Yeah, Dacia.
I don't really know.
I don't know. We're English. We just say Dacia. We would just say things how we say.
It was weird though, because there was a time when I'd never seen one of those, and then
No.
all of a sudden they were everywhere.
It was a major thing in Europe, isn't
The
it?
old Dacia Dusters.
I've read in comments on some car websites that the Romanians call them plastic tubs, because they literally are just made of plastic. But the
Yeah, I
starting
can imagine
price is something like 23,000
Huh.
for something like this. So we are coming more and more advanced. Every car's getting better. Most people just want Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto, don't they?
Yeah,
Just
they
want to
do.
be able to listen to their music wherever they go. I mean,
I don't know about you. I'm not even that fast with a car.
not anymore.
If I can just get in, I like the new car we've got. If I can just get in, connect to my phone, press play, I'm happy.
That's all we want, isn't it? That's all we want is simplicity, and I think that's what's happening. I think we're no longer we're more gauging now towards the millennial market, I would say.
Probably more the Gen Z market, right?
Because the problem is in the UK, there's not a massive demand for trucks. I think trucks make up like a small percentage of our road vehicles.
I can't imagine there would be though. It's
So-
not really a cultural thing over here.
No,
is
it's not. Whereas you go States,
it? And also, can you imagine
everyone
trying
got a truck?
to park a truck in Asda?
Yeah,
You ain't
exactly.
getting
You
that
can't
in
even
one of
park
those
a van.
places. You ain't getting that in one of those
Can't park a
places, I'll tell you
van,
that
can't
much.
park a truck. They're literally, our car parks here are just fought for the small
You
vehicles.
can barely
aren't
park a regular car in this car.
Yeah,
park. Like, you
exactly.
ain't getting a pickup in there.
So I think that's what's what's going to be the next thing is we're now moving away from sport cars. I mean, you very rarely see sport cars. Very rarely.
Not really. No, you don't really see them.
I don't see them. You get the GTIs, you get the sport packaging.
See a few of them.
I don't see many. I mean, there was a point where I saw loads of Audi RS6s, and I don't see them anymore.
No, you don't really see those much, do you?
No, not anymore.
There was a time. I remember even my boss had one. I remember everyone was having one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
I think I've noticed with the way Prius is starting to grab, it's like, well, we're still in the EV market, the hybrid market. You know, we're making it look smart. It's going to have everything you want in it. Yeah. I think that's just the way we're moving as motor vehicles.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like recently getting an EV is a lot more, what's the word? Available to most people.
More available,
like, it's not, maybe not to most people, but it feels a lot more available than it did maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. And then if you think about 10 years back, you'd be thinking you're crazy.
Well, I mean,
it's mental how
I'm pretty sure every car park I go in now has got some sort of EV charging point.
You hear them.
Most of the services.
You literally hear them. It's like being an iRobot.
Most of the services have charging points.
Exactly, and that's where we're going to move on, because I think this is a very interesting topic, is that Ford is on the decline on its EVs.
Ford's struggling a bit, isn't it?
Struggling. It looks like they're going to be possibly going bankrupt because of their EV market.
Imagine that. The company that started it all crumbles.
That's it, exactly. So, yeah, like Seb said, is George Ford, wasn't it? Was it George?
George Ford.
Ford.
Henry
Ford, that's it. He was the guy that invented like the first automotive
the automotive vehicle. There's
18 gears.
There's a famous quote from Henry Ford, actually. People always say, about inventing and all this sort of stuff. And Henry Ford, I think one of his famous quotes, he said something like, if he'd have listened to what people wanted, he'd have made faster horses. Because obviously when he invented the car, they didn't exist.
No, it didn't exist
at all. If he'd listened to the public and what they actually wanted, they just wanted better horses. They didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Imagine that. Imagine us still being around horseback today. Because if you ever see like the roads and everything with like how cars become, they used to make stepping stones in the road, didn't they? So they'd have like slits for the carts to go through, and people still walked on normal heights. And it also allowed the horse shit and water to run down, and the piss and everything to run down into the roads. Like how we've become, and now like we're on the main track for EVs, and we're trying to get away from oil.
Yeah,
it's just incredible. And to see Ford are on the decline. I mean, is that because it's the American consumers?
Yeah,
do you think that the demand isn't there?
I don't know, maybe
across the states.
Maybe. I guess it's probably easier in a country like we're in the UK, because it's one cohesive country. It's probably a lot easier to shift everyone from petrol to electric, I'd imagine. But in the States, obviously, each state's its own thing, and each state's got to kind of do it its own way, and it's a little bit more confused, I suppose.
And you're probably not 9 hours away from your capital. Whereas in the UK, you're always within 2 hours of a capital.
Yeah.
It's quite like that, isn't it?
To be fair, you can drive pretty much most of the way up the country in about 4 hours over.
I mean, we really slate EVs haven't got a major battery capacity for mileage, right? But you don't need to go that far.
To be fair, in this country, you'd be absolutely fine.
You'd be fine.
Even an EV that can do 150 miles.
Yeah, you will.
You'd be fine.
We're not queuing up at this point, are we?
No, you'd get between charging points easily.
Whereas we're starting to see in the States, lots of Tesla bays and everything starting to struggle with parking because they're trying to get in there to charge. But like, I don't know, say like 18 people in the area have got Teslas, and only like, I don't know, like Wendy's just got 2 charging bays out front. Whereas you come in here, it's massive, isn't it?
The thing that puts me off with an EV is the charging time.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you've got a petrol car, you go to the petrol station, you fill it up, and you're done within 5 minutes.
That's it.
But an EV, say you're literally nearly empty, you're going to have to leave it on charge for a while before you can then go again.
Well, so this is it. I've noticed it going to the services, coming off on my way home to get fuel. And I've seen people in there, they are in there for 20 minutes and 40 minutes just to even get a bit of charge.
To get a full charge, even on a fast charging point, you must be looking at, an hour or so maybe?
I mean,
even half an hour is quite a long time to just sit there.
I think that's probably what is going to kill it for the market in the States, is because obviously...
I think that's probably what is killing it.
The trucks are a big thing.
Yeah.
Trucks are a massive thing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people will argue and say, oh, why don't they just get with vans, like Europe does and everything like that. And I'm probably more or less don't agree with it, because 9 hours away, and potentially sometimes an hour drive from a main road, where some of these people live with trucks.
Yeah.
You need a truck to get out to these outback areas.
I suppose that's true.
I get it if you're a pavement princess with your truck and you live in a suburban area. move to an EV truck.
Yeah, you don't even need a truck at that point.
Well, you probably don't even need a truck. Like, yeah, you're probably right. I
Yeah.
mean, some of these things are huge, you know.
Well, like you said, if you live on a ranch or you're living a bit out of the way, then it does kind of make sense.
That's it. You're probably. I mean, you got to think about how these ranchers even get their power.
Mm.
You know, so then obviously straight away chucking in a charging bay for that truck, and it's always going to have to be probably on charge because you're going to, you know, it's probably not something they're going to worry about. Whereas you can chuck a couple of cans of gasoline in the back, and off you go. You know, off you go across your ranch on your 50,000 acres. You know, it's not a problem. I mean, some of these places got 430,000 acres. Just put that into perspective for land.
I suppose the downside
we don't have that here.
One of the downsides as well is if you've got a petrol truck or car, whatever, you can carry more gasoline, petrol, whatever, in the car with you.
the car.
But you can't really do that with an electric car. You can't carry an extra
battery, could you?
And there's no way of carrying extra charge with you.
No, unless you had a solar panel.
Oh, yeah, that's a funny thing, actually. I know Elon Musk was talking about that a while ago. And he was saying that because of the problem, I don't know the science of it, but he was speaking about how sunlight converts into energy.
Yeah.
Because it's just by way of how it works, it's quite slow. Having a solar panel on your car wouldn't really ever work. Like, you'd get some charge from it, but it would never be able to keep your car topped.
No, that's it. Well, my new work van's got a solar panel on the roof, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and it only trickle charges the battery. It's got nothing to do with charging the vehicle.
No, it doesn't help.
It just helps the battery to be able to start the diesel
you couldn't
engine.
drive around with it on the roof and be fine forever.
No, I think 4 years as well, aren't they, or something, or 7 years of sales only live in some of these solar panels.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
You know, you'd have to get that changed. And if you're looking at a long-term vehicle, which we don't anymore, do we?
Not
we
really.
Don't actually look at. We look at our cars now like iPhones.
Yeah, you don't look at cars like you did back in the day. That's going to be my driver for the next 15 years.
I work with people that were like, you know, they got their first car in the 1970s, and these are people that were born in the 40s, you know, and the 50s, and they, you know, we didn't get our first car till 1970, and then they still had that car.
Yeah.
Till last year,
but you don't
because of you, Les. I think they had to change it.
I think that I just don't think you ever thought that I'm going to have this for X many years. You just got the car and that was it. You didn't think you were going to change it. That was just your car.
Exactly. That's what's making me start to think: is this why we're looking at the fall of an EV in America? Because people want to keep their cars. I don't know. I don't know how how it is over there, but I can tell you now that what it has become over here is it's become like having the latest phone. It's like, oh, I see. It's keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, you know, like people will look across the road and go, I see Sylvia and John have got a brand new like I don't know, Audi, and it's a 72 plate, and everyone's like, oh, mine's an 18 plate.
Yeah,
we should get a new car. Then they go, right, we're gonna get a Range Rover 22 plate or something like that. You know, it seems like that because years ago when you were in school, it was like, oh, Matt's got the iPhone 3GS. I want a fucking iPhone 3GS, and it just went on like that. And then it was like, oh, now he's got the brand new iPhone 5S.
It just went on. That. So, don't like that with cars now. You definitely only think, oh, I'll have this for a couple of years, get something else.
Get something else. I think that's what we're looking at is the decline on it. Is that people probably want longer lasting vehicles, and it's probably the charging as well. I mean, unless you've got somewhere at home to charge.
I think that probably is still going to be a bit of a pain.
We're struggling in this country, aren't we? Because I drive past a lot of houses in London that run the cords across the footway, and they've got those rubber mattings now, but that's not very good for people in wheelchairs because imagine going up and down the pavement. You know, that really started to wind you up.
I mean, for most houses though, or maybe not most houses, but a lot of houses, I don't even know where you'd really put the charging point. Like at ours,
garage, I think.
Oh, we'd have to have ours probably in the garage. I'd have to open up the garage, plug it in, and that.
Yeah, and run it from underneath the door.
Yeah, I think I'd have to do that with ours, but
then there's the risk of some Wally going by and pulling it out or cutting your cable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't cut it, but
no,
because that's going to absolutely go back.
It's going to be some in the end there.
But yeah, you know, you got the phobia of people pulling them out because they do. They go around and pull them out, I suppose. Whereas when you're filling up your truck, you can only stand there and watch it, can't you? Unless you're in the States and they put it on lock and.
Do you know what? I thought about that the other day when I was at the petrol station. I was like, why don't ours do that?
They take them away, don't they? Take them away.
Yeah.
It's another question I don't know about.
Yeah, I went to I was filling a car up the other day and I thought, why can't I just lock this right now?
It's there. It's just they take the pins away.
I was like, why can't you do that?
So the little trick I learned was putting a can there.
Oh, yeah.
Like a can of drink or something.
That's
like a Red Bull. Red Bull fits in there perfectly.
Stick a Red Bull in
and just let go of it and just walk away. But how often are you stood there filling up? You're not like you fill up a lorry, is it?
No.
You know, so these guys are out there filling these trucks for ages. But us for cars, it's nothing. But you do think of the inconvenience. Before I forget, actually, on our vehicle segment, the Toyota Hilux ad was cancelled.
It was.
It was cancelled. Guess what was cancelled over?
What was it? What did they do?
You'd think anyone had done something wrong, wouldn't you?
Well,
Like,
usually.
there's a swear word in it or something, or, you know, I don't know, they did something unfavourable. No, it was because it's the truck driving across land.
Oh, I do remember this. I do remember this, yes.
So they cancelled it because it incites, like, damaging the environment.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, they couldn't show it, could they?
A truck, a utility vehicle,
Literally designed for
literally
off-roading.
what it's supposed to do. Like, you know, like the farmers use these, you know, in this country, and off-roaders, emergency vehicles, you know, Coast Guard, mountain rescue. They're going to be driving across grass, shrubs, bushes, possibly going to have to take down the odd silver birch with it, drive through it, you know.
So how much of a truck actually is this thing?
What, a Hilux?
Is it like a proper...
It's not like what you'd see in the States.
No.
It's a normal size, like, Ford Ranger. Literally a normal size, tiny wheelbase, everything like that. But it was because it was an ad of, like, probably, I don't know, like 10 of them going across.
Would argue if someone was buying one of those, they might be intending not to be on main roads with it some of the time, right?
Exactly, that's the whole point of a truck. I mean, we have a lot of pavement princesses in this country. A lot of people, they just have the road wheels. They think they've got a truck, they can take it off road. No.
I can't say I've ever heard the phrase pavement princess. I like that one.
So they do. They look after little trucks, you know, and modify them and make them look bigger than they are. But when they go off road, they're quite rubbish.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Toyota Hilux is quite up there with the truck. And it's quite funny, really, because the video was filmed in a completely different country, and it was filmed on the landowner's permission.
Yeah.
Driving through muddy puddles and everything like that. But yeah, it's they want to stop it. Even Ofcom even said, no, we don't want to be showing that.
Can you imagine these days? Like, imagine these days trying to advertise something like a car that is partially designed for going off road. And they're like, you can't show it going off road, and you're like, but that's what it does. And you're like, nah.
It'll get to a point in a minute when it will be a car advert, but you won't hear the push to start and the rumble of the exhaust. You won't be allowed it. It will be watch the needles on the speedometer go up and down, and then it'll go ready, and that would be it. We are starting to see a decline in our mainstream TV, television, media of we don't want you seeing that anymore.
You won't even be able to. I was just thinking, you wouldn't even be able to show the needle going up and down because you'd be promoting over exaggerating the pedal.
Probably speeding.
Over exaggerating the pedal or something. We can't incite
speeding. So this is what it's becoming, isn't it? We're moving. I mean, I don't even watch adverts or to Americans commercials. We don't actually watch them anymore. I refuse to watch adverts, even when it comes to YouTube. Ad block goes on. You didn't hear that, YouTube. Please monetize us.
Let's cut that bit.
Please pay us. You know, like, I don't want to see them, and this is the whole main reason of it. They're not what they used to be. I even say it, like when was it when Nissan changed their name? Oh, I can't remember what their name was, but there was the old advert. We're changing our name. It's like a proper old commercial, yeah. But it's one of those things where you're like, bring back those commercials, bring back those adverts. I want to see proper adverts with people in it. None of this fake AI stuff that's being rubbed off and everything, and fakeness in the background and all that. I know what you've got to say about the cloud. It's going to do away with you eventually.
Oh, I hope so. I hope it absorbs me. Upload me to the cloud.
Upload me like Cyberpunk. You know, so yeah, it got cancelled. Damaging the environment. It seems you won't be able to walk out in the environment.
No.
You might kill a species of moss or something.
You know what they say? The best thing human beings could do for the environment is not exist. And the person who came up with that idea should be the one to do it first. Do you remember that? Yeah. Well, we were talking about a while ago, the Extinction Rebellion or something they're called, aren't they?
Yeah.
People who think that humans should go extinct or something because they're the ones destroying the planet.
So...
Well, maybe you should give it a go first.
Start first and we may follow. No.
Maybe.
No, I like what I'm doing. So, yeah, I think that concludes on the car episodes.
Yeah.
Up next...
What is up next?
Up next, I'll tell you what. Yeah, we lost the Pogues, didn't we? Pogues lead singer.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Isn't that your partner's You hate that song.
I fucking hate that song.
You hate that song.
It's the worst Christmas song of all time. Fairy Tale in New York.
I hope you play a little bit.
I hate
for
it.
the episode.
I hate it, and I wish it didn't exist. I think it's the worst Christmas song. He can't sing. He sounds like he's off his tits.
You've never seen him when he was on his young. Yeah, real bad teeth.
He looks like that when he's singing that song. He looks and sounds like he's absolutely just on a bender in a pub, and everyone's like, "Please shut him up."
And he died young.
How old was he?
I think he was in his 60s.
I wanted to say 56, but I can't remember now. It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
65.
Oh, I thought it was 56.
So he was quite young.
65.
I mean, I think he was drunk when he even wrote that song or when he even conducted it.
I mean, he sounded drunk when he was singing it.
Yeah, I think he was, and but it is one of the most famous songs for Christmas. Fairy Tale in New York. I know you hate it.
I do hate it.
I don't mind the song.
I mean, all respect to him. I know he's dead, and that is sad.
Yeah.
But I don't like the song.
Would you, because we haven't got a photo of him yet, would you have him on the call wall?
Yeah, he can go on the call wall.
You'd put him on the call wall?
I'll put him on the call wall. It's quite an achievement having one of the most.
That's it. Someone's going to have to give him. The first one that's going to have to give is Biden.
But just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not good.
That's it. No, it doesn't. We got to be with everyone else, haven't we?
Yeah. I'm quite aware that my opinion is one of the few.
And we're going to have to start making the photos a bit smaller.
Yeah, we're starting to plaster.
Because we're starting to really get that wall get busy up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's try and do like 2 at a time on one sheet or something.
That's it. Yeah, he made an appearance in Trivial Pursuit yesterday.
Oh yeah, he did actually.
Didn't he? So, but yes, unfortunately, yeah, he did die, and rest in peace. Very young age as well. It's not what you want to hear.
No.
It's just, unfortunately, life just takes, and it takes sometimes some of the good people. No.
Probably was a good guy.
Probably was a good guy. It was just the music. You didn't like the song, did you? So yeah, obviously, let's move on to some bad news.
Oh no, sad times.
So yeah, of course, the £60 million profit was made by PPE deal during the COVID-19.
Yeah, a little bit dodgy.
Rishi Sunak is on the front for it. He's on the fight for it, isn't he? He's trying to show that, yes, I can really take it back and fight it.
Slightly ironic, because wasn't his father-in-law involved in the scandal of a load of money during the pandemic?
Yeah, wasn't he the one that was dealing with all the websites and everything? And
it was some IT
thing or something, wasn't it? So, what was he saying? You shouldn't throw stones if you live in glass houses.
That is the phrase.
That is the phrase. No, you shall not throw stones if you live in glass houses, So Rishi Sunak, we haven't actually heard any more about this. This was beginning of the month this started to come out. £60 million in PPE. I mean, yes. I mean, that's just profit. I think that's just literally profit.
I think it was,
profit. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I mean, I imagine she approached with a contract, it got signed off. Yada, yada, yada. Everyone makes a bit of money from it. But, these wouldn't be the only people that would have made money from that, because there'd be someone somewhere that would have got dividends
I'd imagine.
and shares.
I'd imagine quite a lot of people made a little bit of money off of it.
Do you reckon that would have been like Rishi Sunak in that?
Imagine if he did.
Because that's normally how it works, isn't it? The old brown envelope in these cases. It's like, well, what do I get for it if you get it? And it's like, well, I might give you the odd Lamborghini payment
that is
here or
kind
there.
of how politics works.
They live absolutely extravagant. They live really well, everything like that. This was a time when people were not allowed to see their loved ones and people died. So this is not a soft subject for a lot of people. I mean, to me, I'm a bit like COVID was majorly fast and rushed for what was needed. We've got worse diseases out there that we've never even done this with. The Black Plague go on for so long, and we never even isolated back then. And as my partner likes to say, every 100 years or something bad happens to the human race. I mean, it would be nice, but Extinction Rebellion would agree.
They'd love that. They'd be like, yes,
Extinction Rebellion. But £60 million in profit. I tell you what, fine them, give the money back to the government. I mean, £60 million, that ain't a lot, is it?
Well, I suppose what you're talking about.
To me, for me, it is. To you,
all
it
the
is.
monies.
But to put it back into the government, that's not going to even do anything.
That's going to disappear, isn't it?
That won't do nothing. That won't even fix a pothole in the street at the minute, because I don't know why every project's 60 million at the minute. But yeah, moving on to money, because that's pretty much we can wrap up on that one. Yeah, remember the HS2 part was cancelled,
Yes,
wasn't it?
this was
the Northern Belt.
a good few months ago, wasn't it? I
That's
think we
it.
talked about it on this.
So the money from that project from HS2 may potentially be used to sort out the UK's road network infrastructure.
No, it won't. No, it
They
won't.
won't even touch it.
I reckon all the potholes you know and love will still be there in 2 years' time.
We watched them do our road, and they cut out these little patches, planed them down, tarmac, asphalt and overband. Great, really good job. Looked lovely and tidy. But you forgot about the other part of the road that was deteriorating next to it.
Yeah.
So that new nice little bit with the overband and everything like that, that other bit that's to the right is wearing away now.
Yeah, that does
So
always make
we're
me
now
laugh.
bumping all up and down the road.
That does always make me laugh. You'll see them down there. They'll like mark them out and that, and then a
Yeah.
couple of days later they'll be back and they'll fix them, and you're like, oh, that's great. Then you turn around and there's like 19 potholes behind you.
That formed that day
Like-
because it overcompensated all the heavy equipment they had down there. Yeah, just resurface the roads. Just resurface. I know you can do it because you do it in London. There are roads that we end up having they put sections on them. Like you cannot dig them up unless it is literally emergency work. You can't touch them for 2 years and sometimes even longer if they want.
What I don't get with the road resurfacing sometimes is I work up in sort of the middle of nowhere, and a lot of the roads around there are pretty bad, and they resurfaced the entire road once, but they kind of did like a half-assed job of it. They just kind of they dug it all up, recoded it in shingle,
Put
whatever it
bitumen
was.
and tar
And then
bits down. Yeah.
literally within a week, it was back to what it was before.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, they probably spent like millions of pounds doing that. Because it was a good couple of miles of road they
the
did.
cheapest way to do it is
And I was like, they must have done the cheapest, quickest job, and now it's exactly the same as it was before.
Yeah.
There's more potholes now than there were. They're even worse.
and it's the worst kind because they lay down the chippings on top of the new bitumen, the tar, as you want to call it, as most viewers would know it as, and then they basically use the member republic with their vehicle to roller it because you drive over it.
Yeah.
Now the problem with that is it flicks tar and bitumen up in the wheel arch,
Yes,
and
it
it
does.
sticks to your tyres, and then all that shingle that isn't compacted, because if you imagine there's a couple of pebbles on top of each other, once that's pushed down and that's pushed down, there's no give for this stone to go in the middle, so it pings off.
Yeah.
So you end up with shingle on the side of the road. You end up with it down the actual junctions, and it becomes a high skid risk. Then you've got to drive at like 25 miles per hour in those areas which are like national speed limit. So you've reduced that, and then you get the one person who's like, actually, no, I'm going to do 25. So you end up worse than you are. You end up having to clean all this bitumen and tar off your cut. It's the cheapest option.
And that is exactly what it was like for about a month.
Yeah, it's the cheapest option. And what happens to all those shingle bits and everything like that? Where's it all go? Ditches, drains.
Oh yeah,
blocks
You assume
everything up.
It would have to, wouldn't it?
Blocks everything. It's got no givers. It's got nowhere else for it to go. So it's going to follow the lowest point, which is the water course.
Well, yeah.
So it just blocks everything up, and it's I'll tell you what. How about we put that money from HS2 back into and make a HS3 and actually get on with connecting the north to the south, because there's no other way for any of us to travel up country apart from aircraft or car.
That's kind of mental, isn't it?
It's terrible. We do have trains, yes, and before anyone moans about it, but they're crap.
Yeah.
They're shockingly
It's
crap.
not easy though, is it? doing
No,
trains?
it's not easy doing a
It's not
train.
easy.
You've got probably 17 stops, maybe 30,
Yeah.
before you get to where you need to be.
Yeah. You
And
can't
just
go
look
direct.
at this Christmas period. We live right near a main railway line that connects two major parts. What were they using instead of trains?
What, around there?
Yeah,
What were they using?
coaches and buses.
Of course they were. The classic bus replacement service.
It caused chaos, absolute chaos. And I've just travelled in a train and then told I've got to get off here because we've got a train replacement service in place. I want to be put on a jet. I want to be treated like the goddamn President of the United States gets. Because I tell you now, he ain't worried about no train rail replacements. Prime Minister ain't.
No, you don't.
He must look back in number 10 and go, ha! Network Rail's at shit again. That's good because it's privately owned. Love it. Put it back in the public's hand, all of it. So, yeah, even England, was it the National Highways now? Even that, I think, is privately owned.
I don't actually know.
I don't know if it's public.
I mean, it acts like it is.
They act like they're bloody public, don't they? Act like they're the law. But yeah, so do you think it'll fix our potholes?
Nope.
Nope, that's getting crossed off then, isn't it?
Not in the slightest.
That's not going to happen. I'll tell you what, let's lighten it up. Have you seen Neil the Seal?
I have seen Neil the Seal. The friendly little lad that likes to hop down the road.
Oh, bloody hell. Where did that come from?
I
Where
have
did
seen
it
Neil
come
the Seal.
from?
What was it, in Denali, wasn't it? Australia.
It's on Australia. Anywhere Australia. Yeah, what the hell?
Neil the Seal.
It attacks you though when you go near it.
Yeah.
It's not even nice.
I love the videos of people walking up to it trying to talk to it.
It's getting all like...
Yeah. Just flopping down the road, isn't it?
Where'd it come from? I mean, I'm assuming there's a lake nearby that it lives in.
You would assume so. Do they live in lakes? They live in the sea,
I
right?
don't think... I think that's what I
I
thought.
think they live in the sea.
I've seen a police officer beeping the siren horn at it to get it back into like a lake. Didn't look like no ocean to
It
me.
just doesn't care.
I don't understand. I don't know where it came from.
No, I don't really either.
And it's actually quite an abuser.
It's a bit aggressive from what
It's
I've
very
seen.
aggressive.
Neil the Seal.
How come no one's just come out and just gone... I mean...
I feel like the local residents might be up and up.
just
He's one of them now, isn't he? Neil the Seal.
Yeah, I suppose.
They've accepted him into their arms.
Good, you couldn't let your kid go out though, could
No,
you?
maul his face off.
That's what I'm saying. It was one of the videos I saw of him. It was him. It was sat outside someone's front porch in Australia, just sat there,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and like they were going up to it, like Neil, you can't be in here. It's someone's front garden.
Yeah.
Like, hello, it's a wild animal. You can't be here. Oh, sorry, he's
Neil,
trespassing.
please leave.
He's trespassing. Tell you
Yeah.
what, grab it. Why don't you try and grab him?
Imagine how much that thing weighs as well.
Exactly.
Imagine if it just flopped on top of you.
Well,
It'd be crushed,
that's
wouldn't
what it does. It uses its weight, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you'd be
They
absolutely
get up, don't they? And they basically go for you. I mean, just where did it come from?
I don't know. I would like to see those.
We got to look into this. I'll tell you what,
Neil the
let's
Seal.
do this. Neil the Seal. There he is. First Google search.
Neil the Seal. Who is Neil the Seal?
Summon elephant. So, who is Neil the Seal? Neil is a 600 kilos.
600
See, that's what I'm saying. He's over half a ton. Southern elephant seal. Okay, and he lives on he's an island state in Australia, according to the news reports. Born in Salem Bay.
Salem Bay?
Yeah, in 2020. Neil was targeted by the Marine Conservation
He
Project.
was born in 2020 and he's 600 kilos. What an absolute unit.
Where did it come from? Where did he live? Where does he live? That's the thing. Spotted in friendly neighbourhood. I mean, I don't think it's a friendly neighbourhood anymore.
I don't think Neil the Seal's a friendly boy.
I wonder if there's any new updates on him. Typing in news. 1 week ago. Basically stay away from him.
Give him a wide berth. If you, see him down the road. You walk him to the shops and he's coming towards you. You don't want to go back the other way.
Photo they got a traffic cone.
You got to certain his dominance over the road.
He's bringing in martial law. No way. The account has 63,000 followers on TikTok. Please keep a distance of 10 meters between us. Take 3 for the sea.
Take 3 for the sea. Oh, no.
10 meters. I mean, I don't think he's going to pick up in 10 meters that fast. So you.
I don't know
Get
how fast
away
they can
from it.
actually move. I bet it's like a crocodile where they can move a lot faster than you could think.
I got another one like in Scarborough called Thor the Walrus. Thor the Walrus. Yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough, but why has no one dealt with him?
Who knows? Well,
Wouldn't you class
part
that
of
as
the,
like localised pest?
I don't know. He's part of the conservation program, so I guess they can't touch him.
No,
He's off limits.
So hook him up on a winch on the back of a ute and drag him up the road. Tarmac burn. But yeah, I think we'll do with that one, won't it? Okay, that concludes us with Russia pulls out of its nuclear weapons training treaty.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't
It's
it?
a bit weird, isn't it?
It's a little bit weird, a little bit worrying, I suppose.
We haven't really covered it anymore, have we? So the
No.
Ukrainian and Russian conflicts,
Yeah.
and then we're now looking at Russia withdrawing from its nuclear treaty.
A little bit.
I mean,
Is it one of those things that Russia likes to do where it just kind of likes to scaremonger a little bit?
it's like screw your sanctions. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly.
I feel like it's one of those where Russia's just going, fuck, I'll do what I want.
So don't panic. Just buy yourself some respirators. Keep them in the garage, and you'll be fine. No,
Maybe,
I don't really know what it means for
No.
us. I mean, I think along the lines of they can test whenever they want, I believe, or they
Yeah.
can start
I
testing.
don't think this is like we're pulling out the treaty, we're going to be nuking you next week.
No, it's nothing to be worried about.
I think it's more they want a little bit more freedom over how they can manage their own nukes.
I mean, they love showing a video like that, don't they? When
Yeah.
they got the control room and the 2 Russian soldiers and they push the button, all of a sudden it zooms out and there's like a big old warhead comes up out of the ground or out of a truck somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they've probably got them in, like Babushka's house somewhere, under someone's living room carpet. It's things like that. Like, they just don't even happen. The chairs fold back and the rocket goes up. And then all the time the dust's gone, they sit back down again. They go, da! Like, I don't think it means anything massively worrying.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world.
But who else will follow?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone would.
Do you reckon Iran will follow?
No, I don't think they would now. I think they'd be a bit too worried on that.
The US are only around the Red Sea, aren't they?
Yeah.
And us. But I think we've got nothing to worry about.
I think we'll be okay.
2024 is a good year. The solar storm's coming. We've got all that.
Solar storm's coming. It's going to wipe out all of our electronics. We're going to be living in the woods. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time for me. So I absolutely love all that.
You're going to have to teach me, but it's going to be a good time.
You. But yeah, so between January and October, we can expect the solar storm, to really wipe out humanity. I mean, no, it's not going to happen, is it? I mean, we've heard this all before.
How many times has something like this happened?
We had the 2000 bug.
Yeah, we did the millennial bug.
That everywhere.
Then there was the old 2012 Aztec calendar.
I mean, that's what I was actually going to touch on. When I was in the
Mayan calendar.
The Mayan calendar, wasn't it? Like it's only because it was going to run out. Everyone thought, "Oh no, there's no more numbers. What do we do?" Well, they didn't go that far. They
kind of got that far, and they were like, "That would do."
We don't need to go any further. Who's going to be around that long? And everyone went, "Nay," and they put their hands down in the meeting. But yeah, so I went to the garage, didn't I? And actually told you about this. All the newspapers all said apocalypse now, apocalypse soon. With the earth on fire and everything. I mean,
like a great ball of flames.
What are you doing? But what doesn't help is that there's a load of celebrities on the absolute fast of making nuclear fallout bunkers, aren't there?
There's been quite a lot of celebrities building bunkers.
And some of them are drilling them into rock. Like what? And one of them's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd have a bunker as well.
Oh, yeah, I would have had one already. I mean, they're a bit late to the party, aren't they?
Yeah, just a tad.
I mean, the president's had one for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, do you not think you're that important? So no, it doesn't mean go out and start digging up your buried dog in the back garden and your rabbits to go and build a bunker. Just literally under a stairwell would do.
Yeah, just go under a table, you'll be fine.
Just go under a table, do you remember that? Like, I don't know. Yeah. But I think that's going to conclude it for this
I think it will do, yeah.
Because that was a whole
There's a lot that run the gambit that one.
And there was a lot more that we could have probably chucked in,
yeah.
But we would have hit that hard.
Yeah, that was good.
Seb's got a lot of editing.
Got a lot of work to do, so...
got a lot of editing to do. We hope you all had a good Christmas.
Yeah.
And
a Happy New Year to all.
That's it, we're going to party hard tonight, aren't we? It's New Year's Eve today. It's currently 4:10, or that is 1610 minutes.
So yeah, give it about 3 hours and we'll probably be passed out.
What do you reckon we'll hit first?
Oh, how late do you reckon? Do you reckon we'll see midnight?
Yeah, we'll see midnight.
Then swiftly decline after
Passed out.
2 minutes past, fast asleep.
Consciousness. So yeah, we'd like to wish you a Happy New Year.
Yes.
And let's just hope the weather holds up.
Bring on 2024.
It's been very bad lately. Bring on the solar storm.